What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the show called Joey Answers Your Questions, the show. I've got my coffee here, and it's actually a little bit too late for me to drinking coffee, but no, that was not grammatically correct. It's a little bit too late for me to be drinking coffee. Sometimes I don't follow my own advice. In fact, if I followed my own advice 100% of the time, I might be a little bit better of a person, but unfortunately, I'm human. Let's answer some of these questions. First question comes from Matt Colbo. How's it going, Matt? He says, do you try to stick to an upload schedule? Do you feel pressured to? Why? Hey, Joey? How do you work from home effectively? And finally, 2 book recommendations. Thanks, big fella. That's a lot to ask for me to do right now, but once again, that wasn't English, was it? That's a lot for me to do, and it's a lot to ask, but I'm up to the challenge. See, I actually feel like my brain fog is way better today compared to last video, yet I still can't complete an English sentence, so something I'm gonna have to work on. So, do I try to stick to an upload schedule? Do you feel pressured to? Yes and yes. My upload schedule is at least once a month. That's like the baseline that I have, but it just so happens that I do schedule sponsors kind of twice a month, kind of like this month. I might have to postpone. Hopefully I don't have to postpone one of them, but I still plan on having 2 uploads up on my main channel for January. I think it is good to have a schedule, and it is good to feel a little bit of pressure, because if your brain is anything like my brain, not having any pressure means you're just not gonna do anything. So you do have to have deadlines, you do have to feel a little bit of pressure. So I think a healthy amount of that is ideal. It's ideal for me. Hopefully in 2021, I can kind of get closer to 2 videos a month consistently. But I also want to be consistent on this channel as well. So I think that's a lot for me to chew right now, and it'll keep me busy because, yeah. And then also, how do you work from home effectively? I think that kind of bleeds into my earlier, no, if something would bleed into something, it would be after. Wait a second. My previous answer bleeds into this answer, and that would be that you definitely need a schedule. You need some pressure. You need some sense of structure. You need to have deadlines. You need to have discipline, and these things are easier said than done, but in order to work from home effectively, you definitely need to have structure in your life. You need to have a wake-up time that you stick to, even if it's as easy as saying, I'm going to hop in the shower before 10 a.m. every single morning. It might seem very lazy compared to when you were a working man pre-quarantine. I don't know what your situation is, but if it's more than you're doing right now, then it's probably a good baseline. I like to have like 2 hours of work. I have a 2-hour baseline that I have locked in, and I sometimes can only do 2 hours of really intense work in a day, and quite often I go way beyond that if I have a deadline or something like that, but at least having a required 2 hours of work every single day will help you chip away at the mountain of stuff that you probably have to do. Mac Gabriel says, this is going to become a regular weekly show, press X to doubt. You know, I've developed a reputation of not being that consistent, I guess, so fair. Timmy says, do you struggle to think of ideas for videos at all? When you make videos like yours, do you ever sometimes feel like you're recreating the same video? The concept comes pretty easily to me, but the execution is always a struggle. Like finding the exact wording, I do a lot of thinking in the shower or just like zoning out on a chair, trying to think of the proper way to say things, but not even specifically the proper way to say things, but even if the concept that I have is true or not. Like I'll do a lot of bullshit testing in my own brain. I'm trying to figure out whether there are counter arguments that are super valid, and if they are valid, why, and should I switch the video to more of that philosophy, or should I stick with my original philosophy? Like I'm kind of having this wrestling match in my brain for like weeks and weeks before I upload a video, and half the time is like I write a couple sentences and then I look at the sentences and I stare off into space and I really try to think about whether it's true or not. And yeah, I'll just be mulling over ideas for months and months and months. Kind of like I think the concept that I mulled over for the longest was the why your life is so boring video. I was thinking about that concept for years, and I figured, you know what, I probably will never have the perfect way to describe this whole your life is basically just today repeated concept. So I might as well just pull the trigger on it and try to explain it in the best way I can. And it's one of the videos that I'm most proud of, I think. And it's just because I put in the most thought, just put in a lot of thinking on that video. And then, do you ever feel like you're creating the same video? Sometimes I do that on purpose. Yeah, like the why you're always tired video. It was almost a little bit of a repurposed video. I made the 5 ways to have more energy throughout the day video a couple of years back, and my take on the energy crisis kind of evolved over the years, so I kind of wanted to redo that video in a way. So in a way, I'll look at my older content and see if my opinion of it has changed, and I'll try to do an updated version. I'll call it something else. It's not worth really like saying part 2 or I was wrong or something like that. Actually, that's a pretty good video title, just I was wrong. I feel like YouTubers do that all the time. Sometimes I feel like I am recreating the video because I literally am. Dunya Bahar says, how to follow through with commitments you make to yourself. How to respect your past self's authority. How to build trust and confidence that you will actually do what you say you're going to do. Thank you. That's an excellent question, and something I struggle with on a day-to-day basis. And I'm sure a lot of people do as well. One thing that I have learned though is, you know, you probably heard this a million times, but you really do have to start small. You have to set goals that may not be like that exciting to you. Like, it might not be world-changing stuff, but you do have to be like, okay, I'm going to read 1 page of a book every single day. You know, it's a book that I want to read. I'm looking forward to reading it. And all I'm going to require myself to do is read 1 page every single day. Classic gaseous energy going on right now.
The classic.
And then once you get in a habit, and like I'm talking maybe even a whole month or more of reading 1 page every single day, you might then develop a confidence and track record to take on more stuff. So then you can be like, okay, I'm gonna read 3 pages a day. And since you're so accustomed to just picking up a book and reading it and not procrastinating it, then you'll actually develop more confidence in yourself. You actually have proof that you can stick to something. And I think that's really important. You really just have to put in the reps.
Baby steps.
The same goes for going to the gym. The same goes for, you know, eating well. You have to lock in the minimal possible commitment for yourself and prove to yourself that you can stick to it. And once you start developing a track record of sticking to it, then you can develop genuine confidence. Confidence stems from competence, and without competence, it's not confidence at all, it's cockiness. And being cocky is never a good thing. Maybe sometimes it is. I should really put my phone on Do Not Disturb mode. Cal Newport would be rolling in his, well, no, he's still alive, rolling in his office chair.
Did I ever tell you about the day that Steve Martin died?
Steve Martin's not dead, Mike.
I know.
Tegan Min Mayat says, question. When people I love do stuff I don't like, should I tell them or just keep treating them well and serve them? Excellent question. Man, the gas. I had 6 eggs before this video.
To help me get large.
Keep treating them well and serve them and tell them. You know, tell them in a loving way. You really have to be clear in your communication. Your feelings aren't selfish, they're the truth. The better you get at telling the spoken truth, the more harmoniously you can live with the people around you in the long run. And that might mean having a short-term little quarrel. But I think speaking your mind in the most honest way possible, not only does it help other people respect you and respect your boundaries and respect your feelings, but you will also start to respect yourself more because you start developing a track record of someone who prioritizes their feelings, someone who lets people know that their feelings matter. Treat them well. Keep on serving them, but not at the expense of your own self-dignity. Yeah, that's That's the way you gotta operate in every interpersonal relationship. Audrey Fajardo says, can we shout out your editor? His humor is pristine. He could very well cut this out of the video, but I'm going to command him not to. Yeah, his name is Demetrios. He's got a channel of his own. He better put the link, no, I upload these videos, so I'll put the link in the description to his videos. But yeah, he does a great job of these videos. Go check him out. He makes men's fashion videos. And you know, some lifestyle content and stuff like that. Yeah, once I watched his channel, I just realized like this guy knows what he's doing. I want him to edit my second channel videos. So shout out to Demetrios, and shout out to Audrey for shouting out Demetrios, or having the idea of shouting out Demetrios. Star Drake says, you said in one of your videos that you're doing mewing. Have you noticed any results? That was a joke. I have not tried mewing. I'm sorry if it came across like I did, but yeah, I'm not. Should I? Should I start mewing? Do I need to start mewing? How's my jawline? It's mean, right? Actually, I could probably work on my jawline a bit.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm not against mewing or anything. I just haven't tried it. You're not gonna see me at the gym with a jazzercise. It's just not gonna happen. I know that's not what mewing is, but it's in the same vein. It's looks maxing. Jolostic says, has there been a time where you lost motivation making videos? And if so, how did you get it back? I lose motivation making videos all the time. I feel like a lot of that comes from self-doubt or wanting to outdo previous videos. Like if I haven't made a video in a long time, I'll start looking at my old content and be like, damn, that was actually a pretty good point. I don't think I could have a good idea ever again. But I feel like I'm far enough into it at this point that I know that the process of getting through videos or creating isn't necessarily about being motivated or inspired all the time. Sometimes that comes deep into the process. A lot of the time I'm not motivated or inspired to make a video at all until I'm kind of like 3/4 of the way through making it, and I'm watching it in my editing program like, damn, this is actually pretty good. This is shaping up a little bit better. And then I start to get really excited about it, and I really want to, you know, give it that polish that I think the video deserves. So yeah, inspiration and motivation to create can hit at random times during a project. I think it's a huge misconception that that needs to be first, like it needs to be the precursor to creation. But a lot of the time, just getting your feet moving happens first, and then the motivation happens later. And I think if you become a professional and you have deadlines and stuff like that, it starts to become very apparent that motivation and inspiration sometimes never come, or it comes kind of halfway through a project. You just never know when it's gonna strike, but when it does, you should utilize it to its full potential. Grab the horns of that motivation and ride it off into the sunset and make something truly special. Nico, that's all I'm gonna say about that name.
Nikolaos Klavopoulos. You're welcome, Joey.
Says, dude, couldn't appreciate that movie back then. What movie did I say last video? Once again, I'm not a doctor, I'm just a dude.
I'm the dude.
I don't know what movie I was talking about last video, but he says, is loving your work overrated? Thanks for the videos. I don't think loving your work is overrated, but I feel like people get mixed up with the word love. Because loving your work doesn't mean that it gives you butterflies every single time you like pick up a camera or pick up a paintbrush, and you're not like always super inspired and overjoyed and euphoric about creating all the time. Because so many things in life are a struggle. Like it takes effort. Anything worthwhile takes some form of effort. But if you find that at the end of all the effort that you put in, that you're fulfilled and proud of the work that you did, then maybe you love that thing. Once you've done the struggling, are you like, I'm never doing that again, fuck that? Or are you like, wow, I'm really proud of what I did and all that struggle was worth it? Because I think that is what loving your craft or your art is like. So find the things that are worth struggling over. You know, find the things in your life that are really worth the struggle and the effort, because that's what it is to have a passion. Via the Soul says, where the fuck did you find that Greek paranoia monologue? As a Greek, I was hella confused. Ask Demetrios, I don't know, he's Greek as fuck.
Yes, I am.
Rasa says, "Hey Joey, hope the brain fog cleared up. How do you go about the difference of opinion? Do you tend to agree or disagree? Or are you the type of person who tries to convince the other person to change their mind? I am referring this to the different political okay, I can't even say that word because it's going to get like demonetized or something, related and especially taboo questions. It's very important to have an opinion. It's extremely important to know what you stand for and why. If you don't stand for something, you stand for nothing. I feel like only a fool feels the need to try to convince somebody else to think the same way that they do. Like, you see so many people who are like, it's their mission to try to like make everyone else think the exact same way that they do. And if they don't, they are like somehow inferior. And I think that's just like intellectually immature to do that. You need to realize that there is a lot of nuance to particular issues, and because you seem to agree with certain points in a complex equation doesn't mean you should get lumped into like one side of the fence. It's basic philosophy, really. That's why the whole like two-party system is kind of BS and blah blah blah. I could go on and on and on about that kind of thing, but people tend to be very extremist and radical in terms of like trying to divide people into group A or group B. I feel like it's very important in life to have an opinion and maintain a nuanced opinion, and don't just fall into an echo chamber, whether that's on the right or the left. Really try to figure out on an individual issue basis where you stand and hold that nuanced view with strength. And, you know, talk to people about it. Don't try to convince people. I mean, you can try to convince people one way or another, just as a little intellectual debate, but really you shouldn't be concerned about wanting to change people's minds. It's like such a waste of time. Lead by example, be an upstanding person. Your actions speak so much louder than your words. Focus on just being a good person and living a good life. Know what you stand for. When questioned, voice your opinion, and that's it. That's all you can do. Natalie Velikaya says, "Hi Joey, would you ever consider playing an online game with your subscribers? Maybe something like Pictionary, Codenames, or whatever, or maybe hosting a watch party." That's a great idea and probably something that I would do on this channel. Have you guys heard of Jackbox TV? I think there's like a lot of cool games that you can play on Jackbox. I'm pretty sure you can play Quiplash online with like thousands of audience members. Like I guess you could play like Among Us, but like I would host like a super large lobby, I guess, and live stream it. That could be fun. Yeah, that's actually a really good idea. It'd be like really interactive. I'm looking for stuff like that to do on a live stream because I do like live streaming. It's super fun for me. But usually it's just me answering questions. One time on the Better Ideas channel, I started playing CSGO or like PUBG, and people are super confused. They're like, dude, your productivity channel, why are you playing video games? This is a waste of time. So it's like kind of off-brand for me to game. If it's an interactive game with my audience though, it makes a lot more sense. So thank you for the suggestion. Matthias Bohm says, what is your experience with dating apps? Do you use them, and have you ever been on an app date? Yeah, I don't use them anymore, but I have used them and I have been on an app date. Online dating is a completely different animal than in-person dating or asking somebody out that you've actually interacted with and kind of know their vibe or have at least cracked a couple jokes together or something. You know, it's so difficult to judge somebody by a profile. Yeah, like I don't have bad things to say about any app dates that I went on, but like a dating profile, you cannot catch like the essence of the person or their sense of humor or anything like that from the profile. So you're still going into it basically just knowing like a talking point or two and what they look like, and you still have to like vet them for like what if they're right for you or not, you know? It's a mixed bag, really. It's a really powerful tool for meeting a lot of people, especially if you don't have a job where you're like interacting with tons of people all the time, or interacting with tons of new people all the time. If you don't have like a crazy social life where you're constantly meeting new people, then I'd probably recommend hopping on a dating app and seeing what's up, setting a few dates. Just know that you cannot judge a person until you've actually met them and are talking to them. You're going into it blind, basically, regardless of how much you think you know about them based on their profile. Okay, I think that's pretty much it. Thanks for watching yet another episode of Joey Answers Your Questions, the show. Or maybe we're calling it the show called Joey Answers Your Questions, the show. Until next time, it's been a blast. See you next Friday. Have a great day. Yeah, you can make noise now. Make all the noise you want.